financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by Thav Gross. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is watch out for outstanding warrants and what about the stock market? Jenny Lingle.
Hi, Ken. Good to be here today.
It's always nice to have a fresh face here on the show with the rest of the faces. Now, let's introduce the rest of the faces. Brian Small.
A pleasure, Ken. I don't know how fresh this face could possibly be, but at least we have Jenny.
Corey Silverstein.
I'm
Criminal law expert. You're on the topic today for warrants.
great to be here with our unfresh faces from the guy who was born in the 40s.
Oh,
Not the 40s. That's Simasco. Nice to see you.
I just hang out over here.
I'm getting
nice and
burned
quiet.
that age lately. So, the topic today, so I want to talk about the stock market with Pat. So I thought, did you get a little bit of a, warrants can be stock warrants, but this is warrants as far as criminal warrants, and also the stock market. And when we're talking about, Corey and I ran into each other earlier in the week, and you said to me, this is the season for warrants.
Yep.
And I said, well, what do you mean?
wait. We have Christmas season, we have spending season, and now we have warrant season?
Warrant season.
What does that mean?
This is the greatest time of year. You got a lot of courts right now that are basically going out and looking for defendants who have warrants that have been just sitting around doing nothing, and we're talking about warrants for...
Do you mean like bench warrants? What kind of warrants do
We're
you
not
mean?
just talking about bench warrants, actually. We're talking about warrants, we're talking about felony arrest warrants, we're talking about misdemeanor warrants. It's really a mixed bag. So I guess the easiest way to do it is just quickly explain the difference. So a bench warrant is generally a warrant issued by the judge. A judge issues a warrant because maybe you failed to show up for court.
Or like you failed to show up for a creditor's exam?
Yes, you could fail to show up for a creditor's exam. And so in the criminal context, though, so you have, if it is a bench warrant, it's a warrant the judge signed off, said, all right, this guy didn't show up for court, didn't do what he was supposed to do, come get it. Another type of warrant...
And even then they can go pick him up and arrest him?
Correct. And then we have a felony warrant. A felony warrant is generally a warrant that it's originally sworn to by the officer in charge in front of a judge, and this is basically the initiation of the case. If the defendant's not already in custody. You also have misdemeanor warrants. Misdemeanor warrants come up a lot where perhaps there's a traffic stop, the defendant ends up getting let go because they can't actually issue the warrant on the spot.
So like on a felony warrant, is that where you have to show probable cause to the judge and the judge issues the warrant just like on a search warrant? Is it similar to that?
Well, an arrest warrant related to a felony is generally what's going to happen is there's going to actually be a hearing where the prosecutor, whatever state or county it is, will go in front of the judge, explain what the facts are, and request that the judge issue a warrant on felony, whatever.
Then they'll go pick the guy up and bring him into court.
Okay, all right, so
Or
these
they'll
are
send a
types
letter
of
and say,
warrants,
"Show
but
up."
why is
That's
this?
the problem.
So why is this the warrant season? Like nobody's got anything to do. Let's go round up the gang.
Well, what Pat just said, it's kind of like that, but what Pat just said is actually spot
Go
on.
get 'em, right?
Well, what ends up happening is basically you end up getting a massive backlog, because as much as we'd like to pretend that we're in an area where there really are millions and millions of police officers that can just be out looking for people all day, it's just not the reality of the
They
situation.
just wait till someone gets stopped for a traffic ticket, and then they say, "Oh, you got a warrant
Yeah.
for your arrest. Let's
So,
go."
Corey, is this the time if you have a warrant or believe you may have a warrant to address the situation?
Yes, the first step is very simple. If you take this crazy approach, Ken, where you say, okay, you know what, I might have a warrant, but I don't care. I'm not going to do anything. That is the
Worst.
beginning of the disaster.
Right.
What you get picked up.
Step number one is find out if you have a warrant.
Okay, let's do.
Well,
step
can I
number
Google
one.
it?
How do
How do I
do
find
I
out?
go
Great
online?
question.
Do I go online and say
Some
any
courts,
warrants?
some courts will have it available online, but for the most part, the best way you're going to have to do it is you're going to have to pick up the old telephone, that thing with the little buttons. In your day, Ken, it was a little rotary thing. But now you pick up the phone, you call up the court.
You're gonna get it.
You pick up the phone, you call the court, you say, this is who I am. I understand there might be a warrant for me. what
Well,
situation.
Wait, so what court do you call? You
Well,
start
this
calling
is-
all the
well,
courts
this is
you
what-
can
well,
think of?
well,
What
this
if you can't remember what you've done?
This is where the problem is, and at that point, that's where what you really have to do is, I would encourage you to call up a lawyer, because a lawyer will know. There's different places you can call. You can definitely call different counties. You can call
Can
county
you
sheriffs.
call, like,
you can call
the
the
state of Michigan?
You can
and-
call the state police if you're lucky and get someone nice on the phone. The problem is these days they're very short-staffed. And
You know what? I'm
So
going to
should
jump
you-
in here, though. Most people know which court it is.
Yeah.
Because most people didn't show
Well, if
up.
you narrow
Most
it-
people-
if you can narrow it,
Usually no.
They got a letter sitting on their table.
if you
going,
can
"Hey,
narrow
you
it
call
down to
them
a
up-
county,
I just have a
even,
question.
you're in a
If
good
you
shape.
call them up and ask,
Yep.
is that like shaking the tree?
Not
and then
really.
They're going to come 4 minutes later. There's going to be 7 squad
Now, what if
cars
you
outside.
show
not
up
really.
at the police station to ask
That's
them if you have
horrible.
one?
See, this is what we get all the time. And what Jenny just said is like, this is like people walk in, they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so, do I have a warrant? Oh yeah, you've got a warrant for murder from 3 years ago. Welcome.
Yeah, could
And
you-
that's it.
Yeah, please turn your hands. Turn around, put your hands
No,
behind
they don't
your
even,
back.
they'll come out with guns drawn and the whole thing.
Brian and I were talking yesterday
On
at
the
lunch
phone?
about the scene
On the
in
road
Beverly Hills Cop 1, I think, where he goes into the accountant's
That was
office.
2, Beverly Hills Cop 2.
He goes into the accountant's office because he wants to get access to the accountant's computer, but he says, you have arrest warrants out for you for unpaid parking tickets. And he goes, it's a very funny scene. If you think of it, Google it and watch it. It's a great scene.
So the issue becomes with these warrants, Ken, is that, first of all, people leave it too long. And I'm going to tell you why this is now,
Well,
as
you know,
Brian
wait,
said, this
wait.
is the seat.
I thought it was always, if I don't deal with it, it'll eventually go away.
No, it
won't
doesn't- it doesn't
Isn't
just
there
go-
a statute of
No.
limitations that
No, the
makes it
statute
go
of
away?
limitations actually stops running
All right.
once the charge
All
goes
right,
in
so-
the
See,
system.
that's the thing that people don't understand.
We had
One of the
about a
things.
minute before break. So I find out I have an warrant. So what
Yes.
is, should I call you to
Now
address
it's-
it, or do I just call the court and say,
That's
what do I
insanity.
do?
That's insanity. Now's the
Okay.
time you got a lawyer up, because a lawyer needs to evaluate, first of all, what the charges are, what the warrant's for, and how it's going to take place. Because if you do things the right way, a lawyer knows how you can arrange to take a defendant in, have them arraigned on the bench warrant, have them processed, and potentially get them out on bond that day. What we end up seeing, though, is we see defendants who just go on in, they're like, oh, you know what, I'll go after work on a Friday afternoon.
Oh,
well, guess what
bad
happens
move.
when you go into jail on a Friday afternoon?
You're there till Monday.
You're going to be there till Monday. If
When you go in front of the judge will ask you, how did you get picked up? Oh, my lawyer brought me in. I came in with my lawyer. It's
So-
different than the cop picking you up on the side of the street.
It's also those
Much
traffic
different.
stops. It's also traffic stops.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to go to the other type of warrants.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
Worth Ave Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Fav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Okay, back to warrants. All right, before we move into the stock market, Corey, all right, so it's the bench warrant season. We were taking a break and we were saying it's a moneymaker. No, please give me the ball. I need to hold the ball to throw at Corey.
It's a huge.
Fun of my age.
It's actually a huge. It's not easy. It's not difficult to make fun of your age, Ken. You do that on yourself. So basically, though, when we go back to court fines, okay.
Nasty.
So when we talk about bench warrants, it is a huge moneymaker for the courts, and this is one of the reasons why at this time of year the courts they're into their new budget for 2019.
So a bench warrant's issued, and there's what's the money?
So
there's
generally speaking, on a criminal bench warrant, there's a fee associated with what they call a bench warrant fee. This is on top of whatever your bond is going to be given to you. So let's say hypothetically you've had a warrant that's been outstanding on a bunch of parking tickets for 10 years. You've been screwing around. You haven't done anything. You walk into court, and so the judge will say, okay, there's a bench warrant fee equal to, it could be $300, it could be $500. You need to be prepared to pay that bench warrant fee the day you're in court. If you're not prepared to pay that money, get those wrists ready. You're going to be sitting in a cell.
And those fees. It's not like taxes where the interest and penalties accumulate on it, is there? Thank goodness, because all of a sudden you come in with, you got 25 parking tickets that are 10 years old.
But this is why it's important, Ken, to continuously listen to the show, because when you're listening to our show, what I will talk about when they come up, and they do come up at this time of year, are amnesty days. Amnesty days are where courts will allow people who have these heavy fines to come in. They might waive the bench warrant fees and cut fines in half.
And just pay the underlying fine.
Old default fine.
And one of the things that's interesting is that people...
Wait, do we have any amnesty days coming up?
I haven't seen any in the schedule yet, but 36 District Court is generally going to be the first one in 2019.
So when you have them, you'll let us know.
We'll talk about it on the show.
Okay,
so one of the things that people always come and ask me is, hey, I've got all these outstanding parking tickets. I have these fines from the courts. Can I discharge them in bankruptcy?
Great question.
And the answer is no, you can't. Traffic fines are not dischargeable in bankruptcy. Restitution.
Then what do we have you here for?
What
good are you doing us on this topic?
To balance out the average.
But I'd like to say we've been seeing you for many years now. You've never mentioned
Brian's
this.
chair. Bring somebody else in.
No, but the point is that it's while we can address debt and we can control those debts through a Chapter 13, what we cannot do is discharge them, and they will survive a Chapter 13 discharge.
What about restitution orders?
Again,
Chapter 13.
It's a very tricky balance. So you have to work with the county on that, because it depends on the type of court-ordered restitution. They're technically not supposed to violate you, but because
and they're not dischargeable in bankruptcy.
That's right.
Which makes sense. All right, let's shift gears. Stock market. It's been a rocky road the last, I would say, 5-6 months.
Right.
It goes up. We had December, which was a disaster. January seems to have been a comeback. Where do you see
the moment?
Pat, you're dealing with investment and advising clients, elderly clients particularly.
Right.
I mean, it's a very scary scenario with all of a sudden if you take a 20% dip in your portfolio and you're 80 years old.
Is Ken considered one of your elderly?
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's a difference. Absolutely, there is. There's a difference between
if you happen to be watching the
philosophy.
show, I just want everyone to know I'm actually younger than Corey.
Yes.
Yeah, right. It's just the
a lot
camera.
of miles.
The camera makes it.
You were rode hard and put away wet. It's the time issue. For Corey, he's so young. He's got 40 more years to live. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Before you retire. Sorry about that.
That was for the death comment in 40 years.
The problem is when you retire and you're going to start using the money, if you have a stock market drop and you have to pull money out to buy a boat or go on a trip or pay your mortgage, if you spend in a down market, it'll kill you. But the bigger thing is people's risk tolerance level.
I don't know
right?
anybody that has to pull money out to buy a boat.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Well, if you're, but you do though, because
you
you're
want to
planning
pull money
on
out to
going
buy-
on the
right,
boat
right.
that you were going to buy in March.
Well, what's
And
Right.
it's
The boat,
February.
is the boat sinking or is the
But
boat
hang
going to
on,
float?
but let's just, the point though, you're retired and you want to spend your money. You saved, you stop working, now you want to go have fun. If you have a drop in the market and you spend in a down market, it will kill you in later retirement years.
So
You won't have it to come back
What's
up.
the fix?
Well, the fix is you have to know what your risk tolerance level is, right? People's risk tolerance is based on how well the stock market's doing, right?
Yep.
We were talking about Apple stock here. This is a great time to buy. When the stock market crashed back in 2008, there was more money put into the stock market the year before it crashed than it was after the year it crashed.
see, by-
People are afraid.
Well, it's the stock market is so driven by emotion, and when you
Right.
so what people do
the
generally,
opposite
and
of
it's the
what they
wrong.
should.
Right.
What
Right.
they do is when the stock market's hot,
They buy.
they jump in. But
Right.
by this point, it's too late.
Right.
But say right now, where the stock market's probably in the last
Well, it's
month
rocky.
down 10,
Right.
12%, what have you. When you look at it though, Ken, and you look at the 70-year history of the market, now is actually an amazing buying opportunity, like Pat said though, for people that are not as close to retirement.
So when we have a day where the market dips 800 points, we should take all our available excess cash and buy. Is what you're
Wait,
saying.
wait,
Is that what you're
wait,
saying?
wait, wait. No,
In
I'm
my
not
age
saying-
And then it
I
goes
would-
down.
I would
then
say
it goes
yes.
down
Pat-
600 points
Wait.
the next day.
Pat's
If I
going to
do it.
disagree with me,
No,
but I
I'm
would
not
say
saying
yes.
that. No, it's not what you would do. It's not what you would do. It's what the person would do. And if that person is listening to their friend, oh, the market's doing great, you should get in, and they get in, but they don't have the stomach for it, and when the market drops, they get out. They got to stay out of it to begin with.
Yeah,
They
because if
can't
you get out when it's down, you lock in
My
your
wife,
losses.
we open up the 401k statement. She go, oh my God, it dropped so much.
Don't open it.
But she looks. And that's what
Warren
people
Buffett,
do.
hang on, Brian, one second.
You
Warren Buffett,
can't
the
lose
greatest
money in
investor of our
retirement.
time. Warren Buffett always says that he loves it. Keep in mind, this is one of the most wealthy men in the world now. It was
He
Jeff
loves
Bezos.
what?
He absolutely loves it when the stock market goes
Yeah,
down.
but what's his
he
number
sees the
one rule?
Because it's a sale.
What's his number
Right.
one rule? Don't lose money. What's his second rule? Don't forget rule number one. Don't lose money. He can ride it out.
Better to
most
buy when it's
people
on
can't.
sale.
But most people don't have a stomach for that.
All right, let's take a break and come back on what we should do going forward.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Thav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
Time for announcements. Want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on Praise Network, 93.5, 98.3, and 99.9 FM. Tuesdays at 10 a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m. Then on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Also, listen to us with Law and Reality Here and Now on WMUZ AM 1200, Saturdays at 7 and 2:30 p.m., and WMUZ FM Saturdays at 11 o'clock p.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Just go to the website, pop your name in on the home page, and you're entered. We have seminars coming up. On Wednesday, February 6th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., what you need to know when it comes to your estate plan and protecting your family. We're going to go through the elements of an estate plan, documents that you need while you're living, how you address the issues when you pass away, also how to address probate issues. If you're in probate, how do we get through that process? What happens in a probate fight? Brian Small, myself, and Jeff Linden will be your presenters. Attendees receive a $300 gold certificate off the cost of an estate plan. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. We also have a seminar coming up on Wednesday, February 27th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Debt relief, get out of the credit card trap, and enjoy life. We're going to talk about all the methods that we use to preserve future income for you and your family so that your money goes into the bank rather than going to pay the credit card debt. Solutions using bankruptcy and also solutions using our system of debt resolution, which is solving credit card debt outside of bankruptcy. Special segment from Jenny Lingle on how to resolve tax problems. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Seminar is always a fun, actually exhilarating event when it comes to all of our unique approaches to getting out of debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Also remember, you can always come into the firm for a free consultation. Debt issues and estate planning issues with Brian, tax issues with Jenny, business issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat Samasco, disability issues with Jeffrey Kirshner, criminal issues with Corey Silverstein. All you've got to do is go to the website, request a free consult, or you can call the offices anytime at 888-235-HELP. Be sure and check out our free reports. Go online on thavgross.com or lawandreality.com. Our newest report is Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions, written by Jenny Lingle and myself. Also, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formations and Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Michigan and Detroit, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, Thav Gross, Samasco Law, Jeff Kirshner Law, and law offices of Corey Silverstein. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call Thav Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call Thav Gross today, 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back to the market problems. Okay, so you've got risk tolerance. So here's the question. You're representing or meeting with a client and they're in their 70s. What do you recommend to them? And then and then the very next meeting is you're meeting with a client and they're like, they're baby-faced, like Corey.
Right.
They're in their 40s.
Kid.
Are
Wet behind the ear.
Are you in your 40s yet?
30s.
No, I'm not.
Oh my God.
There's a difference.
37.
You're like my children.
37
daughter.
still looking good.
Okay, so
Are your daughters single?
the one.
No,
I'm
they're
married.
both
I forgot. I'm sorry. Hang on.
So the one thing is when there's volatility in the market while you're working and you're contributing to your retirement account, it's called dollar cost averaging. When you keep putting into your 401k and the market goes up, you're buying more shares at a less cost. When the market tanks and you're buying shares the same, you're buying more shares at a lower price. So when the market goes up, you have more to go up.
So the key is that you're contributing
So let me
money.
ask
It's
you
a continuous flow
that
going in.
concept of dollar cost averaging. Now you got, let's take somebody in their 20s.
Well,
right now.
no, wait, stop though. The trouble is you can reallocate within your 401k. So if the market's dropping, you say, oh my God, I can't afford to lose any money, and you pull out of the aggressive fund when it drops and you put it into the conservative fund, it's going up slower.
So
you're locked in the loss.
Now,
If you're in whatever fund you're in when it's going down, what Corey says, right, you should reallocate into the more aggressive fund. But now you're trying to time the market, and you will always lose if you try to time the market.
do you find that this is something that people can do themselves, or do they really need a financial consultant?
Well, if you look at it, they probably do better if they did it on their own because you don't have the extra fees that you're paying the financial consultant to do it.
But when you're in a
when
you're in a 401k, majority of people are investing in their 401ks.
Set it and forget it.
So how do you
Set
do
it,
it? And
you
what do
set
you
it
tell
and you
somebody
forget
who's
it.
in their 20s right now?
The
who's
most
seeing,
aggressive fund possible because in the long run it's going to outperform everything else. Go into the
small
index.
cap growth.
But you cannot reallocate. If it goes down, you got to just suck it up and ride it out.
Or if you want to be aggressive, reallocate to the aggressive when it goes
If that's
down.
what you want to be, but it's your plan.
So there's 2 points I want to make. One, sitting in the middle of Brian and Pat is actually interesting because with their hands flying everywhere, I feel like I'm in the middle
Polish.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a magic show. At one point, they were almost holding hands, so I backed up.
I talk with my hands all the time.
This isn't talking with their hands. This is like a magic show. But with Jenny's question that really
I can
didn't
talk
get,
with my finger too.
That's fine too. But Jenny didn't. Jenny
If
had
you needed something to throw
Jenny
at it, I
had
have
a
it here
really
too.
good point that I
Right.
think is really worth answering, especially for the viewing audience. And one thing that I learned a long time ago, and this is one thing that I think is really cool, is I do actually believe that people should use financial managers. I do think there's a substantial benefit to them. Yes, it might cost you more in the long haul, but frankly, there's a reason why they do that all day. I'm a lawyer. I practice law. I read laws, regulations, write briefs, and argue all day. I don't have time to go through the paperwork that the money managers do. But the other point that you made is that also there is, if you're in the position where you're saving and you do set yourself up kind of like a side fund, it's actually kind of like almost like a, I don't know what you want to call it, a rainy day fund.
It's gambling.
Well, yes and no, but if you manage it yourself, and this is frankly what I do. I have one pot where I have my mutual fund manager and the other that I manage myself. And by managing it yourself, Jenny, you do save money because on my own, I'm in an account
And you
where
learn more about the market.
you learn more.
You should learn that, and you get used to the ups
and it's
the
important
downs.
that you learn the terminology.
But there's also
What I like
another
about
the
working
7-year-old
like
is the
working with
different
you.
thing. Yeah.
Correct.
It creates discipline to the plan.
So most
Whereas if
people-
you're doing things on your own and you're not organized, you're floating and you can make mistakes. If you've got an advisor like you and there's an organized plan, it's a lot more stable.
But wouldn't you agree, Pat, that
we got to wrap up in a minute. So Pat, what do
Okay,
you
the
think?
last thing, there's
You're
another
right.
option though. It's either all in the market or all in a bank account making nothing. There's a difference. It's called an index annuity. The index annuity, the principal is protected 100%. If it goes up, you share in the growth. When it goes up, when it hits the anniversary date, that growth is locked in. So if the market crashes, you don't lose anything. So there's a different classification of products out there that do what a lot of people want, which is protect that
and
principal.
that the indexed annuities like for age group like 55 and up? Or?
Anybody that can't afford in their mind to lose a dime of money, an index annuity is a great product for them.
You know, I want to do a show on that because there's a lot of controversy
Yeah.
sometimes about annuities. So
Right.
we would take the time and kind of explore it. Next time we do finance, let's talk about index annuities.
Sure.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.